Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Moving Head Karachi.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Sharifah Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
The president says Sri Lanka can be designated as a developed country very soon if all goes forward with the unity and consensus. Some university lecturers say that Anur Kumara's statement made over the tax policy is absurd. Trade unions praise the president for directing the country towards the correct political path by ending the struggle. Diana Gamage questions whether parliamentarians elected under her party are legal if she's a foreign citizen. USA says if Israel directs a land attack on Rafah area, supply of US weapons will be further restricted.
We move on to those and other stories in detail now. Let's take a look at local news first. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized that Sri Lanka has the potential to become a developed country in the world if we unite and reach a consensus. He reiterated the importance of a shared agreement for the country's progress. He urged everyone not to overlook the chance to contribute to the future generation of the nation and cautioned that prioritizing personal ambitions over the country's interests during this challenging period could lead to significant destruction. President Ranil Wickremesinghe made these remarks while delivering a special statement in the parliament today.
President
Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the government anticipates economic growth of at least 3% this year, a forecast supported by multiple domestic and international financial institutions. Inflation has significantly decreased to 1.5%. Additionally, the primary account balance, previously in deficit for several years, turned into a surplus of 0.6% of GDP in 2023. The president said that for the first time in many decades, a surplus in the current account of the balance of payments was achieved in 2023. Furthermore, interest rates decreased substantially, reaching levels as low as 10 to 13%. He said that tourism rebounded and remittances from foreign workers rose significantly. By the first quarter of 2024, the exchange rate dropped to less than 300 rupees per US dollar. Furthermore, foreign exchange reserves exceeded $5 billion, signaling a favorable trajectory in economic stability. The government reached this progress by navigating a challenging and demanding path, one that we believed to be the right course of action. Despite facing criticism from certain groups within the country, we persisted in our efforts. He added that starting from September 2023, the government proceeded methodically implementing measures to control public spending. Numerous price reforms were also initiated across various goods and services. Government revenues stood at below 8% of GDP, insufficient to cover government expenditure, which accounted for 20% of the gross domestic product. Consequently, the only viable solution was to enhance state revenue. Numerous past administrations provided employment, raised salaries, subsidized fuel, electricity and water services, and managed budget deficits by borrowing from foreign countries or printing money. The government opted to alter this approach. Adapting to such a change all at once was challenging given the years of conditioning to operate in this manner. For the country to undergo reconstruction, someone must spearhead this transformation. Through a series of reforms, the government established financial discipline within the country. Another crucial reform for economic stability was restructuring our debt. Ensuring debt sustainability is paramount for long-term economic advancement. Without it, sustaining economic progress becomes untenable. As part of our efforts, the government initiated an anti-corruption program based on the governance diagnostic report conducted with support from the IMF. The president said that while these allowances may not fully address the broader cost of living concerns, the government has extended the maximum level of concessions it can afford. The amount of entire loans by December 2022 was 28% of the GDP. Therefore, a plan was implemented under the three basic features for the debt restructuring. The first segment is the restructuring local debts. The president said that it was completed in 2023. The second segment is to restructure the official loans taken by agreements with other countries. The government has been able to have a policy agreement regarding the restructuring of these loans following the discussion held with these countries. The third segment is to restructure commercial loans. The President pointed out that the Lazard and Clifford Chance advisory companies on behalf of the Sri Lankan government are having talks with the Credit Owners Committee. The government has planned to complete all kinds of talks by mid-year. The final aim of the debt restructuring is to reduce the amount of entire loans up to 95% of the GDP by the year 2032, bringing the government's gross monetary need up to 13% level annually and not to exceed 4.5% of foreign debt servicing annually are the other targets of the government. The President stressed that a huge sum of money has been directly provided to the poverty groups of the country through the Aswasuma and other relief programs. The allowances given to kidney patients, elderly persons and disabled persons have been increased by 50% from April this year. A sum of exceeding threefold of this existing Samruddhi subsidy is granted to low-income families at present. A sum of 205 billion rupees has been allocated for this purpose during this year. The President also told the Parliament that a successful harvest has been gathered from the Yala and Maha seasons during the period 2022 to 2024. A part of the harvest is now being distributed among the poor families free of charge. The government will spend 12 billion rupees for this matter during this year. The monthly cost of living allowance paid to the public servants since January has been increased up to 10,000 rupees from April this year. In addition, a monthly pension allowance of 2,500 rupees has been paid for the government pensioners.
රුපියල ශක්තිමත් වීම නිසා ආනයනයේ භාණ්ඩවල මිල ගණන් සැලකිය යුතු ප්‍රමාණයකට
President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that it can be seen that the prices of imported goods have significantly decreased in recent months due to the strengthening of the rupee. The economic crisis has forced many small and medium-scale enterprises, which constitute a vital sector of the Sri Lankan economy, to halt operations. A program has been formulated to restore these businesses to their former vitality. The government has made significant investments in this regard with numerous loan schemes organized to support the sector. Shortly after the amendment of the Parate law, further relief measures were swiftly implemented. Additionally, a special unit dedicated to small and medium-scale enterprises has been established within the Treasury to coordinate related activities. Tourism has emerged as a rapidly growing sector in our economy. The President said that as a result of the strides made in transitioning from a struggling economy to one that is now stable, our country has surpassed its position from 2 years ago. He said that despite the progress, there are certain groups that, unable to tolerate this advancement, trivialize our journey by likening it to an interval in hell. Allow me to address this notion. It's crucial to recognize that deviating from our current trajectory, driven by short-term and narrow objectives lacking a long-term vision, could lead us back into the depths of economic despair. Should this occur, the government would all endure a prolonged period of profound hardship and adversity. It's encouraging to witness rival political fractions increasingly recognizing the success of the programs the government implemented thus far. Recent observations during the New Year period, reflected in social media comments, indicate a growing trend of cooperative income on the rise, as evidenced by images depicting people flocking to cooperative stores. While those pictures and comments may have been posted with political intentions, they inadvertently reflect the truth, the improved conditions of the people compared to 2 years ago, somewhat more promising than before. By advancing with agreement and consensus, we have the potential to swiftly elevate our standing as a developed nation on the global stage. The President said that otherwise, prioritizing personal interests over the nation's well-being during this critical juncture could mark the onset of significant devastation. The government implored everyone to recognize these perils and strive towards a unified agreement and consensus for the greater good of the country. The President added that let's seize this opportunity to contribute to their recovery and betterment of our country for the benefit of future generations. Together, let's nurture this endeavor to propel the nation. Our actions today will shape the judgment in the future.
In the meantime, the Election Commission says that the presidential election will be held during the period from the 17th of September to the 16th of October. In a press release, the chairman of the Election Commission said that calling for nomination of the election will be held during the scheduled time period. The chairman of the Election Commission further said that the Commission will act in pursuant to the provisions given by the Constitution and the Act number 15 of the 1981 of electing the President.
Former parliamentarian Diana Gamage questions whether the parliamentarians elected under the party are legal. If she is a foreign citizen, she raised this question holding a media briefing in Colombo today. Former parliamentarian Diana Gamage said that this is not only an attack for me, but for the entire women in the country. The opposition leader and several others have carried out an attack against me for over 4 years. It is regrettable that opposition leader and top post holders of the SJB are scared of a woman. Diana Gamage said that the opposition leaders are able to rule this country. At the time of economic collapse, opposition leader evaded the challenge. Only Ranil Wickremesinghe accepted this challenge as a real politician. He has built up the country and saved it from economic collapse to some extent at present. She also emphasized that she is a citizen of this country. She further said that if she is not a citizen of this country, the party headed by her is null and void. She added that she will come back to Sri Lankan politics by proving her innocence.
A group of university lecturers and some political parties say that the statements made by the NPP leader Anurukumara Dissanayake to a certain media channel recently over the country's tax policy is absurd. They say that they never approved making such statements without a proper understanding on the current tax system in the country. Parliamentarian Anurukumara Dissanayake said that there should be a good technical strategy to add VAT within a country's tax system, or else the VAT system should be changed or a new turnover tax should be introduced. The taxes paid by the citizens are not properly added to the income of the government. Anurukumara Dissanayake says therefore the system should be carried out jointly or introduce a new. Otherwise, a new turnover tax should be introduced for a short period of time. Dabadini electoral organizer of the UNP, Bharat Thennakoon, said that a leader with experience would never make such a statement. MP Disanayake's intention is to reduce the existing tax by a bit under the new their rule, but add a new turnover tax, which means JVP rule, the taxes would be increased again. Therefore, people must understand that JVP leader without a proper experience would impose more taxes on the taxpayers of the country.
ගෙවන්නේ ඒක නිසා මේ ජනතාවගෙන් නැත්තම් මේ අනිකුත් ව්‍යාපාරිකයන්ගෙන් වැට් එකට අමතරව පිරිවැයනුත් බද්දක් එකතු කරගන්න ඕනේ කියලා මේගොල්ලෝ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේගොල්ලෝ බලයට ආවම. එතකොට සිහියක් බුද්ධියක් තියෙන මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ජනතාව තීරණය කළ යුතුයි මෙන්න මේ වගේ නායකයෙක් නැත්තම් අඩුතරමේ අත්දැකීමක් පළපුරුද්දක් නැති ජනතාවයක්ත පුරවන නායකයා බලයටපත් වුණොත් මේ රට කොහෙටද යන්නේ කියන එක අපිට තේරෙනවා මේ සිහින ජනාධිපති උනාට නිකන් කාගෙන් හරි
Business and Management Advisor of the University of the Peradeniya, Dr. Chaminda Malasekara, said that as someone who dreams of becoming the president of the country, he had expressed such views under the instructions and advice given by someone in his party. And that Anurukumara Dissanayake proposes has already been proposed by President Ranil Wickremesinghe as a tin number system that will help to increase the tax files in the country and to increase the income of the government. SGB parliamentarian Rohana Bandara said that if the NPP gets power to set up a government, that they would actually put the people of the country in distress.
The Joint Trade Unions Centre today handed over a letter praising him for directing the country towards the correct political path, ending the struggle. The letter was handed over to the President, Ranil Wickremesinghe, at the Presidential Secretariat. The letter states that the President, under his rule, has been able to end the serious economic and social crisis faced by the people. The Joint Trade Union Centre has also congratulated the Parliament Group and the Security Council, who extended their support to the President at that moment. President of the Women's Self-Employment Forum, Janaki Alvis, said that she is also an individual who was attacked during the struggle. She said that she thanks President Ranil Wickremesinghe for changing the negative situation. Nasanka Srinath of the Joint Trade Union Circle said that this letter will be presented to the President for creating a normal situation in the country and in the violent background during the struggle period. The second death anniversary of parliamentarian Amarakirti Yatukorala was held today at the Abhayarama temple in Narahempeta. Parliamentarian Amarakirti Yatukorala was assassinated by the mob gangs during the struggle season. He was a parliamentarian who represented the people of the Polonnaruwa district. A Bodhi Puja was held there by the Podujana Youth Front and conveyed merits to the late parliamentarian, and his personal security officer Jayanta Gunaratna was also killed by the mob. This religious event has been organized under the guidance of Chief Incumbent of Abhayarama, Venerable Muruthettuwe Anandathera. Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa said that PP parliamentarian Amarakirti Yatukorala was assassinated in a very inhuman manner. His bodyguard made a strenuous attempt to save the life of his VIP. Ultimately, both were killed. On the other hand, over 700 houses and properties were destroyed, nearly 400 persons injured. There were some groups who attempted to use the struggle to meet their violent ends under the name of the struggle. Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa expressed his views regarding his responsibilities over the party. Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa said that if we all build up as a party, any person who are willing to can become the president. If we are disintegrated, no one will be able to become the president. Therefore, he said that his responsibility is to strengthen the party, disregarding who is attempting to become the leader.
Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga says that her staff members are paid their salaries from her personal money and that she has made this comment in this response to JVP's allegations leveled against the former president that they are enjoying a large amount of benefits and privileges. Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga said that although some former presidents use public funds, she does not use public funds in an improper manner, adding that she has only 4 government vehicles. 7 vehicles given to her have been returned. Mahinda Rajapaksa uses about 10 vehicles. She said that she only allows 1 security vehicle to follow her, and that the president's salary when she came into office was 25,000 rupees per month. She said that she increased the salaries for ministers and parliamentarians without increasing her salary. She receives about 98,000 rupees per month at present. The money is also allocated for charity work, and that anyone can check at the Premisary supermarket as to how President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga has bought food items during the past period. Bandaranaike family has never ruined public money. A journalist questioned her regarding the dissolvement of the SLFP's women's organization. Former President said that former President Sirisena has no legal right to dissolve it. Sirisena had said that he had set fire to his father's paddy barn when he got angry with his father. Therefore, such a person leaving SLFP is not cause for astonishment. Selection of the children for the 5th stage of the Guan Sihine program, jointly organized by the National Television and the Civil Aviation Services Authority, was held yesterday.
It was held at the Rupavahini Corporation premises, and 100 children have been selected, and they are slated to take part in an education tour in the Katunayake Airport premises on the 13th of this month. This Guan Sihine program has been organized with the aim of providing wider knowledge and understanding to the children of the nation regarding the aviation sector. Over 2,000 candidates between 13 to 16 years have sent applications for the 5th stage. Out of them, 100 were selected at the Rupavahini Corporation premises yesterday by a raffle draw which was conducted through computer technology. The raffle draw was carried out by the internal auditor of the SLRC, Tirina Kulatunga. The selected children will take part in an education tour in the Katunayake Airport premises on the 13th of this month. They will also be given a valuable certificate upon completion of the tour. The airports and Civil Aviation Company of Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Catering and Sri Lanka Aviation Training School also provides their support towards this program. Further details are available at the Rupavahini News YouTube channel.
Minister Manoj Nanakar says that specified gazette notification with regard to the increase of daily wages of estate workers up to 1,700 rupees will be issued after the 15th of this month. The minister made these comments joining the second reading of the debate of the amendment bill of streamlining services of the wages of shops and office employees today. Minister Manoj Nanakar said that the government has proposed a wage of 1,700 rupees. However, until the 15th of May, the objections against this decision can be posted. After that, the government will have to issue the specific gazette notification and order for the payment. However, the government is also having talks with the State Owners Association. They have agreed to increase the daily wage up to 1,200 rupees and pay an increased allowance for extra kilos for the leaves unplucked. The government is to take a decision by the 15th of this month.
Opposition leader
Sajid Premadas said under the IMF deal, the debt restructuring program is moving forward very slowly for the period of 2 years. The third tranche was to pay in March. The second tranche was also delayed due to the failure of the government to act in a transparent manner with IMF proposals.
වගකීම වගවීම මේ සංකල්ප ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නට මේ ජනාධිපතිවරයාගේ රජය කටයුතු කරලා නැහැ.
ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදල ඒ වගේම අනිකුත් ජාත්‍යන්තර වශයෙන්
State Minister Shahan Singh said that IMF and other international creditors have not expressed their dissatisfaction towards the government's program. They have always praised the attempts made by the government and the president for a proper restructuring process. The third tranche will be released after the due conditions have been fulfilled. Sri Lanka has no problem so far in going forward under the restructuring process.
තුන්වෙනි වාරිකය නිදහස් කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදලේ විධායක මණ්ඩලයේ සලකා බැලීම සිදු කරන්න තිබ්බේ මාර්තු මාසෙ කියලා. විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා මේ විවාදයට අනුර කුමාර දිසානායක මහත්තයත් එක්ක නොයන්නේ මෙන්න මේ වගේ බොරු කාරණා මත තර්ක විතර්ක මේ කවුරුත් නැති තැනක හෙළන හින්දාද මන් දන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ පාළු ගෙදර වළම් බිඳින හින්දාද දන්නේ. අපි දෙවනි රිවිව් එක අවසන් කරන්නේ 2024 මාර්තු 21. 2024 මාර්තු 21 තමයි මණ්ඩලික මට්ටමේ එකඟතාවයකට ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදලත් අපේ රටේ නිලධාරීනුත් පැමිණෙන්නේ. මණ්ඩලික මට්ටමේ එකඟතාවය අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ඊළඟ වාරිකයක් නිදහස් කිරීම සඳහා අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. එතකොට මේ මණ්ඩලික මට්ටමේ එකඟතාවයක් අවසන් වුණාට පස්සේ ඊළඟ වාරිකය නිදහස් කිරීම දක්වා බෝඩ් එකට යන්න IMF එකේ යම්කිසි කාර්ය පටිපාටියක් තියෙනවා ඊට කරන්න. ණය ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගතකරණය සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඉදිරියට යාමටත් ණය ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගතකරණ එකඟතාවයක් ඇති කර ගැනීමටත් ගැටලුවක් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that 40% of the increased income tax has been allocated for a single line item. There is no transparency in spending tax funds for food and uniforms of the military forces. State Minister Shahan Singh said that the government increased the allowances for the military officials serving at present. It has not mentioned in any place. There is no specific mentioning regarding the use of tax income. The expenses for military officials are taken from the Treasury. These expenses are calculated under the figures and data given by the Department of Census and Statistics. If the opposition leader is not satisfied with this decision, he can bring adjourning debate to stop all increased allowances for members of the three armed forces.
A special discussion was held in the Parliament complex today under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena regarding the health problem which erupted due to disposal of garbage into a land in Wattimadapura village in Berwala Urban Council area. This discussion was held in response to a request made by parliamentarian Imtiaz Bakirmakar from the Prime Minister. The Premier instructed the relevant officials to visit this garbage disposal area in Berwala before the 14th of this month and to shift the garbage disposal point to a suitable place. The Prime Minister also instructed them to dispose the garbage by properly categorizing in order to prevent health problems of the villagers. At this discussion, State Minister P.L. Nishantha presented a proposal to start a proper garbage recycling project in the present garbage disposal unit. Divisional Secretary of the Berwala, state officials and several others were present at this discussion.
Police say a large number of kumbuk trees located in the catchment area of the Kokkalia in Bavania have been felled by a certain group, causing immense damage to the environment in the area. Police have also started a wider investigation to trace these illegal loggers. The natural catchment area is connected to a canal of the Mamadou ancient irrigational tank in Bavania. The loggers have cut down about 20 valuable huge kumbuk trees. The villagers pointed out that these trees are over 100 years old and there is a risk of drying up the natural spring due to the deforestation. A part of the valuable logs have been taken away by the tree fellers. Part of the logs have been abandoned due to the intervention of the villagers. Our correspondent said that several suspects have been taken into custody in this connection. Several kumbuk logs have also been taken into police custody. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
Prima Stellas.
Now on foreign news, United States President Joe Biden warned that Israel, if the United States will stop supplying them weapons if they launch a major ground operation in the Gaza city of Rafah.
Despite firm and vocal U.S. opposition, Israel appears posed to mount a large-scale invasion of Rafah. United States officials warned that an operation in the city, where the population had swelled with refugees from other parts of Gaza, could lead to extensive civilian casualties. The weapons being held back by the United States were related to a future delivery, so the move was unlikely to have an immediate impact. But given the rate at which Israel bombing will probably affect future strikes fairly soon. Meanwhile, the Israeli military stated that the two countries will resolve disagreements. United States officials confirmed that no new aid supplies had been delivered in Gaza via two gates in the south since Israeli tanks rolled into southern Rafah and took control of the Palestinian side.
Australia announced that it will ramp up its extraction and use of gas until 2050 and beyond, despite global calls to phase out fossil fuels. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's government stated that move was needed to shore up domestic energy supply while supporting a transition to net zero. But critics argue the move was a rejection of science, pointing out that International Energy Agency calls for huge declines in the use of coal, oil and gas.
Russia launched more than 70 missiles and drones overnight in one of its largest barrages against Ukraine. Authorities said that the attack on Tuesday night was directed at facilities in Kyiv and 6 other cities, and Moscow continues to target Ukraine's energy infrastructure in the hope of denting industry and public appetite for fighting back against its invasion. Russia launched more than 50 missiles and 20 Iranian-made Shahed drones, long-range unmanned vehicles with built-in warheads. Welcome back. We move on to sports news now. Sri Lanka women's cricketers who were qualified for the T20 Women's Cricket Tournament arrived in the island this morning.
A group of Sri Lanka cricket officials were present at the airport to welcome them. The Sri Lanka team faced all four matches of the qualifying tournament held in Abu Dhabi and emerged undefeated. They beat Scotland by 68 runs in the final of the qualifying tournament. Accordingly, Sri Lanka women's cricket team is scheduled to play under the segment in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup to be held in Bangladesh in October this year. Sri Lanka will face Australia in this tournament. On arrival of Karnataka Airport this morning, the Sri Lankan captain Tamariyata Pattu expressed her views to the media.
Captain of the Sri Lanka women's cricket team, Chamariyata Pattu, said that the Sri Lanka players played well in this tournament with team efforts. She said she is very satisfied with the talents and skills shown by her both veteran and young teammates. Sri Lanka team played with great expectation to qualify for the World Cup. She added that Sri Lanka will have a number of cricket tours before the World Cup. West Indies team will visit Sri Lanka soon, and then the Asia Cup tournament will appear. There is another tour in Ireland. The team expects to show maximum skills in these matches. The team will take part in the World Cup with all these expectations.
The Sri Lankan squad that participated in the T20 World Cup cricketing tournament is declared today.
The squad is comprised of 15 players and under the leadership of Wanindu Hasaranga. The T20 World Cup cricket tournament will be held in USA and West Indies from the 1st to the 29th of June.
Captain Wanindu Hasaranga. Wanindu Hasaranga. Hatumi Sankar. Sandeep Samurinka.
Coming to Wendy's. That's Sunshine.
He goes again.
Dan and Jane Silva.
Big one. මහේෂ් තීක්ෂණ දුරි පෙල්ලාලේ
God.
Usmante Tamire fantastic catch through Ilshan Madhushankar he's cleaned him up
No one to run.
On the crease, the leg swing doing the trick.
Prima Kutumi. Fantamai.
That's true for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.